Hi there, my name is Kaylee Gubler. I'm a certified Optavia coach, and I am here to talk to you today about sugar addiction. So, I am a recovering sugar addict, and yes, sugar addiction is a real thing. I have a lot of people ask me if that's really possible to really truly be addicted to sugar. And the truth is, yes, you can. And so, in fact, they've shown that cocaine and sugar can be equally as addictive. And so, they'll actually show in those studies that the brain centers, the pleasure centers that are lit up with cocaine, are the same when you eat sugar. So, sugar is definitely addictive. And so, basically, I have came off of sugar every way in the book. I'm going to try to keep this really short, so I'm just going to share my story real quick with you. I have witnessed in my own life coming on and off, on and off, on and off sugar over the last 10 years that when you're truly an addict, you have these brain pathways that have a addictive cycle to them. And so even though I came off of sugar a lot of times, I still come back. So I'm going to give you an example in just a minute. But as far as like the addiction goes, what would happen was I would build up a sugar tolerance, not on purpose, but my body would need more and more and more sugar to get that same fix that I was getting from it. And so I started maybe having 1 brownie a day, which became 2 brownies, then 3, then became 3 brownies with 2 scoops of ice cream with fudge and caramel and cookie crumble on top. I mean, like I had to have this giant sundae every single day to feel like I ate sugar. And it's because your body will build up a tolerance. And so that's a dangerous place to be. And that was when I was 30 pounds heavier. So it's a hard cycle. And so my top 2 tips for you as far as like sugar addiction goes and getting off and away from that scary addiction is, number 1 thing is your home has to be a safe place. That was the hugest change for me, was when I could make my home my safe place. It was so much easier to be healthy because I didn't have to use willpower anymore. You want to make it as easy as possible for you to succeed. And so I just knew that no matter how many mind tools and brain techniques I knew to not eat sugar, I knew if I had ice cream in my freezer, I would eventually eat it and I would eventually binge it. So I just stopped completely having ice cream in my home. So if there's things in your life that you know it's so hard to say no to, get rid of it. Like, you don't need it in your house. It's garbage. So get rid of it. Don't have it there. If other people in your home want it, tell them to eat it in their car or at work or whatever. And if it's your kids, guess what? Your kids don't eat it either. So don't have it in your house. And so create that safe place, that safe haven for you, so that when you're there, it's not available for you to eat. It's a lot harder to get in your car and drive to an ice cream shop to go get ice cream, and you're likely not going to binge in front of a bunch of people at the ice cream shop. So just so you know. Second thing is replacing. So here's my quick little story with this. I went an entire year without sugar. Okay, that means no treats, nothing, for an entire year. And I learned a ton about myself. And when I finally had sugar after a year, it was a challenge I took upon myself because I'm kind of a nerd and I wanted to see what happened to me. And what happened was that I lost my addiction to sugar. I no longer craved it. I no longer wanted it. I would think about eating it and it really didn't sound good. And so I was just fine with not eating it. But then after a year, that was my goal. I was like, I'm going to just eat sugar and see what happens. And guess what happened? I got a double scoop ice cream at the ice cream parlor. And I ate a fourth, maybe half of that first ice cream scoop. And I was sick. It was disgusting. I didn't want any more. I gave the rest to my husband, who was still eating sugar that whole time. And I said, you can have this. I don't even want it. But then guess what happened after that? I'm thinking, oh, I'm cured forever. I'll never be able to be addicted to sugar again. And I'll always have this strength to say no. Well, 2 weeks later, I was re-addicted. And it's because I had it a few more times and then I was hooked. And so I realized and came to accept that it's an addiction. I mean, it's like telling an alcoholic, only have 3 sips of alcohol and stop and you'll be satisfied. I mean, it's totally different when it's a true addiction. And so I came to accept that that's something in my life that I'm wired to want. And so I also have known that my life without sugar is a much happier one. And so, however, never having something sweet again does not sound like a lifestyle I want. And so the best tip I can give you, aside from creating a healthy home, is having a replacement. And so there's a bunch of ideas, but if you're familiar with the Optavia program, we have dessert style options that are macro balanced. It's amazing. So you can have a brownie, a chocolate chip cookie, and it's not going to spike your blood sugar, and it's not going to reinforce that habit of binge eating the junk. And so like having hot chocolate that has 14 grams of protein, I mean, that's kind of unheard of. So it's amazing. If you don't have Optavia Fuelings, one thing that I like to do is this unsweetened 100% cacao bar. It's a baking bar. You can find it in the baking aisle. Tastes like dirt by itself. But what you do is you take a date, like the ugly fruit, and you squish it on top and you eat it, and it is actually really good and really hard to binge on, because guess what? After a couple of them, they don't taste as good. And it doesn't have that refined sugar. It doesn't have like that. It's basically not engineered to spark all of those pleasure centers in your head, because this is real whole food. So you eat that and you're satisfied. So that works for chocolate lovers like me. And then if you want to replace it with something else that's not food, I would recommend coming up with a list of 10 to 15 things that you enjoy doing that don't involve food, that give you that same reward, whether it's comfort or peace or whatever, distraction. Call a friend, paint your nails, take a bath, watch a funny YouTube video, create that comfort menu so that you can have alternatives when you crave that sugar, something else that's going to give you that same reward. And so that's my little plug on sugar addiction. Your coach who invited you would have even more ideas. So thanks for watching.